Hi folks, I'm in Cagayan de Oro trying to get my visa problem straightened out, and we're staying at the house of one of my wife's friends. That woman actually is in the USA, but she's letting us stay here, and we are paying rent in order to stay here, but it's not really that much money. So she's the house is empty, and she wants somebody in the house. So we're kind of like house sitting, but at the same time we're tenants. Anyway, I'll explain. I was on a tourist visa in the Philippines, and on a tourist visa you're allowed up to 36 months in the country, and then you have to leave, and then you can re-enter. And back before all this COVID baloney started, once you re-entered, you could get a new tourist visa and kind of be good for the next 3 years. You had to keep getting extensions, but it really wasn't that big of a problem to do that. But my visa expired on July 23rd, 2020. And the problem, I had planned to leave the Philippines and for a few days and then re-enter, but I couldn't do it because they had closed the airports and every other way into the Philippines. They closed it all down on March 15th, 2020. So I was stuck. And I was on Camiguin Island, and I couldn't even leave Camiguin Island. Well, so I didn't know what to do. So I wrote emails and letters, formal letters to the Bureau of Immigration, which is what oversees all the visas for foreigners in the Philippines. And they never replied back to me. And I was really getting to wondering what the hell was going on. And then finally I got an answer from somebody at the Cagayan de Oro office, at the Cagayan de Oro branch office, the immigration branch office in Cagayan de Oro. I finally got a response, and they told me that I should contact some people on Camiguin, and it's called Fun Tours and Trips, I think, or it might be Fun Trips and Tours, I forget. But it's in Mambajo on J. Rizal Street in Mambajo. And if you're a foreigner on Camiguin and you need help with your visa, that's the place to go. I didn't know that. Nobody had ever told me. And I had no idea. But they were the people to ask. And so once my wife got back to the Philippines, she and I went over there together. And it was back in June, and we explained that problem to them, and they didn't really have much to say about it. But as time went by, they started to work on our problem, on my problem, and I showed them the letters, copies of the letters that I had written to the Bureau of Immigration. And so, anyway, they were able to get the Bureau of Immigration, I'll just say BI from now on. They're finally able to get BI to agree that I should get an extension on my visa. So I have an extension now until January 23rd, 2022. But we're trying to apply for what they call a 13A visa. And that's a permanent resident visa. And this one's a spousal permanent resident visa. There are other kinds of 13A visas, but you have to have a big deposit. You have to have a big deposit in the bank in order to get one of those. Anyway, mine's for a spousal 13A visa, so I don't need that big deposit of money in the bank. So things are looking up finally after more than a year. Now I had to pay fines and penalties for overstaying my visa. I had to pay 15,000 pesos, and that sounds like a lot of money until you divide it by 50, and then it's not that much. It's still kind of a lot, but it's not outrageous really. And now, for the 13A visa, there's a lot of paperwork required, and it's not all that easy to figure out some of it, but eventually got most of it figured out and most of it filled in. But one thing I needed was an MBI clearance, and that's a police clearance saying that I don't have any outstanding warrants against me here in the Philippines or in the United States, and I'm not being sued for any number of things like non-payment of a contract or anything like that. And I have no problems like that. So yesterday my wife was able to arrange for us to go get the MBI clearance in Cagayan de Oro, even though technically we would have had to wait months for an appointment. But she was able to get them to agree that we could go there. We went there yesterday and filled out some basic paperwork, and I had to be fingerprinted and submit 2 photos of myself. And so we got that done. So things are still up in the air a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as it once was. So I just thought I'd put up this video and just to let people know. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that if you're having problems, you do not have to be present in the Manila office to submit a letter of, let's see, what do they call it? A letter of reconsideration. It can be done through an agent because I did it. We were able to submit that. Now, it may be only under certain circumstances, but we were able to do it through an agent. So some people have said that you have to be there in person to do it, and you don't, at least under certain circumstances like mine. So anyway, I'm not going to go on and on with this video. I'm just letting people know that I'm still around, I'm still in the Philippines, and I'm working to stay here for a while. I really don't want to go back to the craziness back in the United States. I really don't. This whole new administration, if you want to call it that, is just nuts. It just really is. Anyway, I'm done. Thanks.